Welcome to this explainer. It's absolutely fascinating to stop and think about the completely invisible, microscopic war that's happening inside of us literally right this very second. You might be sitting there comfortably, maybe you're sipping a cup of coffee or just relaxing, but inside your body, it's a different story. There's this highly coordinated, incredibly complex defense system that is actively fighting to keep you alive. So today, we're going to dive right in and explore the blueprint of this incredible bodily fortress. We are looking at the amazing architecture of human immunity.
And it really all starts with one fundamental question. Think about it. Every single day, from the door handles we touch, to the air we breathe, to the food we eat, our bodies face an absolute barrage of infectious agents. We're talking millions of them. Yet, only a tiny handful of these ever actually make us sick. So why aren't we just constantly sick? Well, the answer lies in the awe-inspiring resilience of our immune system. It functions like an impenetrable fortress against these foreign invaders.
Okay, so to map out the blueprint of our fortress today, we're going to cover 4 key areas. First, the body's first defense. Second, the elite immune memory. Third, active and passive protection. And finally, number 4, when defenses misfire. So, to really grasp how this whole fortress works, we need to understand that our immunity is broadly divided into 2 primary categories. On one side, we have innate immunity. Think of this as your generic, always-ready castle wall and moat. It's present right from the moment you're born, and it acts incredibly fast as this non-specific first line of defense. It really doesn't care who the invader is, it just knows they are not allowed inside. Then, on the flip side, we have acquired immunity. Now, these are your highly specialized adaptive special forces. This system is pathogen-specific, meaning it targets exact enemies. And honestly, the most impressive part, it develops a learned memory over time.
All right, moving on to Section 1, the body's first defense. Let's explore innate immunity.
So, what exactly makes up this always-ready innate defense system? Well, it operates using a variety of extremely effective barriers to just block pathogens from getting in. First up, physical barriers. Your skin is obviously the most massive physical wall protecting you. And inside, you've got mucous membranes in areas like your respiratory and gastrointestinal tracts that actually trap harmful microbes, kind of like flypaper. Then we have physiological barriers. The environment of your body is actually pretty hostile to invaders. Your stomach acid and your saliva actively deter and destroy microorganisms before they can even settle in. Third, cellular barriers. These are the patrol guards, white blood cells just roaming your system, constantly identifying and physically destroying invaders on sight. And finally, there's this wild mechanism called interferons. When a cell gets infected by a virus, it sends out these interferons. It's basically a biochemical distress signal, a noble sacrifice really, that warns and protects its neighboring non-infected cells. And the crazy thing is, all of this is happening continuously, right now, without you even having to think about it.
Okay, let's jump to Section 2, the elite immune memory, exploring acquired immunity.
Now, this entire acquired immune system relies heavily on lymphocytes. These are specialized white blood cells that manage the really complex process of acquired immune memory. And remember, these are not your standard patrol guards. These are the highly trained special forces, specifically your B cells and T cells. They don't just blindly attack. They study the enemy, they remember the enemy, and they make absolutely sure that if that specific pathogen ever tries to invade your fortress again, it's going to be met with overwhelming force.
And this whole learning process happens in 3 very distinct steps. Step 1, initial exposure. When you encounter a specific pathogen for the very first time, your body mounts a primary immune response. Now, because your body is still figuring out exactly how to fight this brand new enemy, this response is relatively mild, which, by the way, is exactly why you might feel sick for a few days. But during that time, Step 2 is happening right behind the scenes. The body is actively generating pathogen-specific immune memory. It's basically logging the enemy's weaknesses into a massive database. So, when we hit Step 3, re-exposure to that exact same bug, maybe months or even years later, it triggers an incredibly robust, overwhelming secondary response. Your special forces eliminate the threat so quickly and so aggressively that most of the time you don't even realize you were exposed.
So, who exactly is out there executing this massive secondary response? Well, it's a spectacular team effort between 2 unique types of lymphocytes. First, we have the B lymphocytes, or B cells. Think of these as your body's munitions factories.
They're responsible for what's called the humoral immune response, which basically means they produce antibodies, these crucial custom-engineered proteins that lock onto and neutralize pathogens. Then we have the T lymphocytes, or T cells. These guys are the commanders and the frontline soldiers of the cell-mediated immune response. They don't just drive the direct attack against infected cells, they also actively support the B cells so they can produce those vital antibodies. It really is a perfectly coordinated, two-pronged attack.
Moving right along to Section 3, Active and Passive Protection. Let's look at how we arm the fortress.
Now, the different ways we actually get protected can be broken down into a simple matrix. Immunity is broadly classified into active and passive types. Active immunity develops when your body is exposed to antigens and literally has to do the hard work of creating significant antibody production over time. You can get this naturally, by just catching a bug and fighting a natural infection, or artificially through vaccinations. Now, passive immunity is different. That occurs when preformed antibodies are handed directly to you, providing immediate but temporary protection. Your body didn't make them, so it's not going to remember them, but they save you in the moment. You can get this naturally from a mother to a baby during pregnancy or through maternal colostrum, which is that nutrient-rich first milk, or you can get it artificially in an emergency. Say you get a snake bite or you need help with tetanus, doctors can administer emergency-performed antibodies to give you immediate, life-saving protection.
And that brings us to vaccines, which are just a powerful application of that active immunity principle we just talked about. By introducing weakened or inactive parts of pathogens, vaccines safely stimulate your immune system to produce antibodies. They essentially run a highly realistic fire drill for your B cells and T cells. They're preparing the body for future encounters without ever actually exposing you to the full, devastating danger of the live pathogen. It's honestly just a brilliant hack of our own biology.
Finally, Section 4. When defenses misfire. Let's talk about friendly fire in the fortress.
So, as amazing as this system is, not all immune responses are desirable. The system can, unfortunately, misfire in two major ways. First up, allergies. This is essentially an issue of overreaction. The immune system flags normally harmless substances in your environment. We're talking pollen, peanuts, pet dander, and it treats them as massive, dangerous threats. It deploys this whole arsenal of defenses, and that's what results in the allergic symptoms you feel. Second, autoimmune conditions. Now, this is fundamentally an issue of friendly fire. The body literally loses the ability to distinguish between a foreign invader and itself, and it mistakenly starts attacking its own healthy cells. A really prominent example of this from our source material is rheumatoid arthritis, where the immune system tragically targets the body's own joints.
But when we pull back and look at the big picture here, the sheer scale of this entire system is just staggering. The architecture of human immunity isn't just one organ or one type of cell. It's a vastly complex network of lymphoid organs, tissues, and literally billions of individual cells, all working together in spectacular harmony. I mean, from the physical moat of your skin, to the acidic traps in your stomach, to the sweeping patrols of your white blood cells, all the way to the hyper-targeted, highly educated memory of your lymphocytes. They all combine to recognize and react to threats, ensuring your health and well-being every single day.
So I want to leave you with this final kind of mind-blowing thought. Right now, at this exact second, inside your own body, millions of microscopic decisions are being made. Your highly trained cellular guards are actively reading the biochemical signatures of everything inside you, and they're deciding what is you and what is a dangerous invader. You are literally the site of a continuous, silent, and triumphant battle. So just take a moment to appreciate it. How perfectly is your fortress functioning right now? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer to explore the phenomenal architecture of human